So yeah, thank you for the introduction. Today's workshop is gonna be about like deploying code with R, because that's something that a lot of people asked me how I was doing, how I was sharing my work, my report, and my analysis on the web, and I found it that it was very easy, but like the entry factor for a lot of people was that they were scared about web development and pushing into cloud and stuff like that. And I just wanted to show for like statisticians and academics how easy it can be and how you already know how to do it. So it just like with a really little bit of effort, you can have great results. So the slides are on this URL, so you can have it as you go and click on the links and work with it. I want this workshop to be a little bit interactive because I want you guys to try to do it also and to learn how to do it by yourself. This is just going to be an overview because there is so many stuff going on about version control, web development, cloud development. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of the tips and how to do it by yourself, but I'm going to share a lot of documentation, and I'm available if you need anything else afterward. And don't hesitate to interrupt me. I want it to be smooth for you to try to do it too. And I'm going to try to have different levels of implementation, like the most easy way to do it, but also like more advanced way to do all what we're going to do. So deployment, why? Deployment is really cool to share your work and also to be able to reproduce your work with other people and have some kind of transparency also with your colleagues, because I think most of you work in academia and statistics. So it's really cool to be transparent about your data and your analysis. It's also very easy to share with someone just with a link and a URL, and they don't need to reproduce your code or having all the tools that you did to see your reports. And you can change it really easily on the fly. You don't need to resend another PDF or resend another file. The link is always the same, and you can update it throughout the course. It'll also make your code more reproducible. You can see all the code that was done. You can share your databases and all your practices and methods. And the availability is you can share it to the whole world if you want. And that's how things get done, I think, in the best way in academia. I'm not gonna go through a lot about version control and Git. It's just that it's a great tool to manage your code. And if you are already using it, I'm gonna show you a few tips with it. But you should really get interested into that because it can really save your life. You don't need to use it, but you should. And also, I'm gonna let a lot of documentation after that to try to go through how to do it for yourself, but I'm not gonna do that right now because it's a whole other field. So if you haven't, I will recommend you to create a GitHub account because we're gonna use it for this presentation. But if you don't, it's not it's not a problem. And there is also a lot of different alternatives. University use GitLab if you are already on it. The problem with GitLab University is that they restricted and blocked a lot of things. Like GitHub pages, or Git pages, the tool that we're gonna use to publish our website and stuff. So I already talked to them and tried to deblock that, but they are not doing anything for now. So if you're on GitLab University, you cannot reproduce that for now. But if you're on the worldwide GitLab, you can still do the same things that we are gonna do. So we're gonna use GitHub pages here because it's just the easiest ways to get started on, and I'm gonna show you what to do. Here we're just gonna do it with RStudio, but we could do it. I'm just gonna make this thing share my phone screen and not just step one. Well, sure. And here we can have both pages. So I can do two things at the same time. Hello. So you can just open up RStudio and create a new R Markdown file. You can just go here and you call it whatever you want. I'm gonna call it R Lunch. And you just have to be sure it's default output, it's HTML. And this is just gonna create you a new Markdown file. If you are not using R Markdown, I'm also gonna put a lot of documentation on how to use it. But it's a great tool to create reports. You can create anything you want within the R ecosystem. And you can modify whatever. Like I said, I put R Lunch, but you can do whatever you want. Then we would just want to init it, and it's going to ask you what to name it, the file. For here, we're just going to call it index. I already have one. You can call it whatever, but it's just going to be easier for the repository, for like the publishing. And you create a simple web page with different stuff. The idea now is that if you're already using R Markdown to do your reports and PDF or whatever, you don't need to do anything else to publish it to the web and to everybody else. Because now that we have created a HTML file, we can host it on GitHub. If you haven't named it index, so you can just let it like that, but I'm just gonna use it as an index HTML throughout this this session. But now we're just gonna go to GitHub. And you just go to your to your profile. Yes, here. And into repositories, you can just create new, and this will create a new repository for you. And you can call it whatever, but I'm gonna call it R Lunch 2. Oops. You can put a description or whatever. You just have to make it public because if you want to do GitHub pages for private sector, you have to pay. But here we're just gonna put it public and create your repository. This is just gonna give you an empty repository. But now what we just want to do is upload an existing file. And then you can just drag or choose your file. And here, I'm just gonna navigate to, sorry, I just have the, and here. Of course, you can all do that all with your terminal, with your R console. I'm just doing with the click and point, so it's gonna be easier for everybody. And then you just commit your changes. So basically here, you just uploaded your first file for your website and in GitHub. Everybody's following until now, yeah? So the next thing you just want to do, that's where the...
Excuse me, may I interrupt you?
Sorry?
The HTML page you are pushing to the server, does it exist already, or you are creating it with R?
Yeah, we created with R. I can show you again. Here, when we created a new Markdown file. Where is it? Yeah, you just create a new Markdown file. And here it can be whatever you want. And you need it on HTML. And that's where we got it from. You followed in here?
Okay, so it means you just saved the document in HTML as if it were a Word or any word processor. You save it in HTML, and
Exactly.
It's the output that gets HTML.
Sorry, what?
Then the output of the document gets HTML. So is it correct?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you want the HTML one. Okay.
Thanks. Thank you.
Wait. We got back. So we were on the main thing. We have an index HTML file, and in settings, you will have a pages icon. You just click on it, and here you have the GitHub pages settings page. And under branch, you can just click main. Will be the only branch you have for now on, and you just click on save. And now we're just gonna let it do its own thing. Sorry. So all the pieces to reproduce this are on the presentation. Up, and save. And now we just have to wait a minute or two that it deploy your code on GitHub. So if you go back onto your repository, I'm gonna just wait a few seconds. And while we are waiting, I'm just gonna ask a few questions, like how many people already use our Markdown to do their reports or anything? A few of them. Okay, so everybody. So the cool setup with everything I'm gonna say is like you don't have to change your workflow or anything. You're already using a tool that is capable of producing all of this stuff that we're gonna show. I'm gonna show you a few examples. I'm just showing you that there is a few plugins and a few tricks to make it like a true web developer. So if it has been on, yeah. Now you can refresh, and probably you're gonna have environments tab here, and you just have to click on GitHub pages, and here it deployed your page to the web. And if you can see view deployment, now you have your website with your username and the HTML file that you just created, and you can share that with anyone you want via your URL. So that's a pretty basic implementation of that. Oops. So now you can even say you're a full stack web developer because you have your backend and your front end of your web page. And I'm just showing you a few examples. The first time I did that is to actually deploy your slides when you want to do a presentation. Now you can deploy your slides and share it to the world with GitHub. You can share your analysis and report for any kind of paper or study that you're doing. You have your plots, you have everything. You can show your code for anybody else to see and reproduce. You can do that with books, with workshops, with tutorials, letting you the links and everything in the description. But this is really great also for educational purposes. I use that on all my classes and workshops, so people can follow along and reproduce and change the code so they can and see it in live without any need to reproduce your whole environment. So everybody is still on, still following. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about Shiny Apps because that's also a really great tool that is in the R ecosystem, and I think it's under used by all the people. Yes, tell me.
So just about the last part. Whenever I click in my website link, it's report founder and phone.
For yes, okay. Oh yeah, because you call it something else. Okay, that's a good example of what happened. Okay, I'm just going to explain what happened. If you don't call it index.html, because the first thing that the GitHub pages we're going to look up is index.html. So now you can do the same thing, but you just put the name of your output file, and you're going to see, you're going to find it. It's just in web, the default name is index, and that's where the server is going to look up first. So yeah, you can try it. Cool. Anybody else need help, or it's cool? Yeah. So Shiny Apps is just a framework to build applications, not only with R, but it's fairly used with R. And how to build one is really simple. The first thing you just want to go back to RStudio, and now you can just create a Shiny web app by clicking here. You can name it whatever you want. I'm just gonna name it first app. You can do single file app or multiple file app. I have also documentation at the end of this session to show you what's the difference, but now we just want to do single file. And here you have a basic app with an implementation. And if you just click on run app, yeah, did I click it? No. It will launch an app, a basic demo app, which can be run into your own machine. But that's not really useful, and that's not really what you want. You want to share that with some other people. And I also prepared you an example. If you go to this link, I'm just gonna, oops, I just changed it. Sorry. Sorry again. If you're following the present, yeah, yeah. The link will be changed on the main slides. But here I just prepare you an app building up with what we did with JP with eCharts4R, because I wanted to show the power of all these things. And basically with a few lines of code and eCharts4R library, you can create interactive web apps of your data that you can check on live what you are. You can explore your data with much more utilization than a static plot. You can create time series also. And something that I use a lot also that I wanted to show you is like when you have like outliers, and then you plot something and everything is just scrunch. But you don't want to just erase the outliers, but you still want to look at your data set. With eCharts, you can zoom in with the parts that you're interested in, and you can still see the data set while retaining the whole data set structures and go back to your outliers. And you can, that's the Star Wars data, it's really, really cool. And you can check out in live. I use that all the time to like explore my data set. Well, so that just to show off a little bit of what you can do. All the code will be available also via the link, so you can look at it and see whatever. But now we go back to our deployment. When you have when you have your app, then we can use Posit Cloud. Posit is just the new name for our studio, and they offer a cloud infrastructure that you can use for free to share your apps. You have until 5 apps to share on the platform. And if you want more, you have to pay, or you can create another account. I already have like 4 or 5 accounts to use it. But I'm gonna just show you how to implement it. So when you sign up to Posit, okay, I'm gonna sign up. Yeah, sure.
Is it free or is it some limitation at some point?
It's free for 5 apps. So you have 5 projects that is free. And after that, you need to pay, or you can just erase, or well, you can erase and put another app, or you can have different accounts, but you have 5 apps total. Okay. So I'm just create a new account to show you the process. So that you arrive on the welcome page, and here you have the whole documentation on how to do it. But I'm gonna do it with you. You first just need to install the package RS Connect. I already have it on my machine. And then you have to copy your tokens. If you click on copy to clipboard, you will open a prompt. And here you can just copy what the prompt gave you. And within your console, you can just paste it. And this will just make the whole backend infrastructure for you with Posit Cloud. And if we come back, now that we are signed up and we are set up, now we just want to make sure where we are on our structure, and we want to deploy our app. So I'm just gonna copy this line that you have also on the thing. If you look at where I am on my files, I see that my app is in the folder first, but for you, it can be anything else or whatever. You just want to point to the right folder where you have your app.r function. And then you just call it whatever you want. That's just the name that's going to be showing up. Oops, sorry. Oh yeah, shit, I have 2 accounts. If you have only 1 account, you don't need to do that. And this will do all the boring and hard stuff for you. It will deploy the app to the web. It will take a few seconds and see.
When you have on your app, you can, for example, change like the name, the URL.
Yeah, you can change the domain name, or we'll point some documentation about that. Also, you can do everything. The same for GitHub. You can, if you are in the university also, you can apply for a university account on GitHub, and it will give you the GitHub Pro for free during, I think, 2 years. And you have, like, I think 2 or 3 domain names. It's like .me, so you can have your name .me for free. And you can have your own website with your own URL and everything on Posit and on GitHub. So, but that's getting a little bit trickier into the implementation, I would say. So you will directly open URL, and now you have an app that is linked to your user, that you can deploy, that you can share, and that you can do anything you want with it, for instance. So And now you can say you have a full stack app on your name for all of this. The use case for this is just immense with a lot of different tools. I'm just gonna show you some tools that have been opened that you can use also. And the library of POSIT apps is just immense. You have Brain MRI analysis tools. JP recently put up there a Twitter Network Explorer that you can use for free, and you can host it for free also for everybody. What you can do, you can also put up interactive tutorials. That's also really great, I think, for educational purposes. I do that with my students a lot because it's always a hassle for them to set up R or whatever. And with that, you can just give them an environment on the web that has already everything you want, and they can just run the code and there is already cache on my machine, but you see what I mean. They can run themselves the code, they can have questions, you can put the solution, and they can interact with everything you want on the web. And what else was said? I put also the X Maker. This is really fun. With this app, you can do your own package X pictures on the fly. So everything is on there. And yep.
Because you find everything there, but you have a repository, so people don't at least about so other people are coming account.
There is a lot of blogs that shows that. The Shiny conference also list top 10 of the apps on POSIT Cloud. I can add that to the presentation. And you can also, I think, explore it through POSIT Cloud. I have to check it out, but you can, yeah. And so basically that's that for today. I'm here for any questions or anything. I know it's a lot of things, but I would just to show you the possibilities that there is, and I think that it should be used in academia too, because it's really great. Yeah. With POSIT Cloud? Yeah. GitLab? Okay, but for like version controlling, there is there is GitLab and Bitbucket that I listed. Which yeah, just GitHub is really much easier, the interface and the use tools, and there is much things that, like for example, Atlassian Bitbucket, you have a free account for private repository that no one else can see, and you have to pay to have public access, and GitHub is the opposite. Don't ask me why, but it's their business plan. And GitLab is like the more open source, and for example, university has their own GitLab infrastructure that is free also for every members of the university. But they blocked the pages feature, so you cannot use it. But yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. Sorry. But okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, the cool thing with the deploy function with Arduino Connect, it will take the version of the package you are working on your machine. So pretty much, if it works in your machine, it will freeze that and deploy it to the server. So usually, that's a cool part of it. If it works in your machine, it will work, but it will not update anything. You have to yourself to update your machine and deploy back. But I can show you also that's all in the code. For instance, I use a package manager to deal with all my dependency to share my code. I think it's a really cool, yeah, a really cool way to manage your dependencies. So you will just install stuff if you need it and not. Also, when you create an app, it will create. I can show you. No, so that's the same one. Sorry. If you create an app with, for example, Golem, Rhino, or any of the other frameworks, you will have a description, and here you can deal with every version of a different package you need, and that's all managed for you. And yeah, so yeah. And for GitHub, so GitHub doesn't run our code per se. You have to compile it to HTML. So you can have different interactivity levels, but you cannot like run code on GitHub. That's why I showed you like both sides of the thing. So GitHub is mostly for static website or reports, and Posit is when you want to actually create and run our code on the cloud. So yeah, sure.
And these things you can set up some actions.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's also at the end. I was going to show you for here I recorded a lot of documentation, and you have the GitHub actions for R that can you can make everything I show you just to put an index file into a repository, because that was just like the easy ways to show you. But you can automatize everything of that with the GitHub CLI, with the action for R, so you never have to click on anything. and yeah, and you can work with like blogs, create books, and everything, and host them for free, and for everybody in the world. You can do slides like I do, like I did, and share it with Sharingan. Yeah, the possibilities are just infinite for that matter. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
I already have a Shiny app account where I already published Shiny app. What is the difference with Posit?
Well, Posit, what do you mean in Shiny app? Because Shiny app is dealt by Posit.
Yeah, that's my question.
Oh yeah, it's the same thing. Shiny apps, you see like Shiny apps IO. Yeah.
I don't find my my apps. Okay. And now I found them on my Shiny app account, so it seems there are two different accounts.
Okay. Yeah, it's the same, because if like I disconnect here, I'm Shiny apps, and that's the link I click is Posit login. Yeah. Maybe it's Posit Cloud and not. Okay. Yeah, I think because that's Posit Cloud, and Posit Cloud is Shiny apps, and maybe there is another thing with Posit and it's not Posit Cloud. Okay. Maybe that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Another thing that I wanted to show you also is that because everything is accessible, or if you are the free version, everything has to be accessible by everybody. But I'm working on the implementation, or you have a login account, so you can, for example, here you cannot access the data unless you have the user and password account. This is just a dummy version of the thing, but that makes it that you can share like private data. You still like posting it on POSIT, so you have to comply with that, but you can put a login screen, so only the persons that you want can access it and share it. That's a tool that I used a lot with my lab, with a lot of people that were not that tech savvy to work with data sets or everything. So I can just share them the data and they can look at it, they can download it, they can filter it on a GUI and not using R or anything else, but everything is done on R in the backend. Yeah. Something. Yeah.
Question, you know, so that this public cloud and just put some data, right? But your experience, like making a Shiny app where you can have the user to upload some data and that you can finally track.
That's my beta version. Here is the alpha, but the beta it works. Yeah. The idea is like that everybody. Well, I want to create a data management tool that can be shareable and that be used by anyone. Here is on POSIT. But yeah, the beta version of you can upload CSV, XLSS, and they put it on SQLite format, and then you can do what you want with that. So it works. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you talked about the GitLab, actually, and the fact that the university didn't allow it to have a personal page, and you did that, I guess.
Yeah.
Why there was why people
I don't know if I can tell it on record, but pretty much they don't give a shit and they don't want to do it.
Is it do they have to pay more for this functionality? Or
no, and they just have to like flag something and yeah, I had a lot of issues with the IT team and yeah, but they are overworked and that's definitely not their priority. And I asked them like 2 years ago and they still haven't changed on it. So it's a shame. But yeah. Yes? Can you speak louder? Sorry. Yeah, everything is going to be on the presentation. You have a link here. Here you have this presentation. We put in WeData, and you have the code for the slides, for the apps, for the deployment, everything.
The slide, the website.
Sorry?
The slide, the link to the slide.
Oh yeah, it's also on the website. Yeah, that's cool. Exactly. Yeah, that's really the best stuff about that. It's really easy to share, and like now I made some mistakes, and I'm just gonna update it, and you're gonna have the updated version by default, and I don't have to resend you 5 PDFs and 5 PowerPoints to be sure that I didn't mess up. Yeah. I mean, some people are gonna try to deploy some stuff. You have already ideas, or?
Right now, no, I'm not able to China.
Yeah, but not even in Shiny with Markdown or whatever.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think the best use of that is to create blogs, portfolios, and share your reports that you already have made. So you already have them, and you can just share it easily with your coworkers and stuff. And it's really cool. And it's fun.
Oh, and I have another question. This one is about.
Yeah.
It's about, right now they're working on the Shiny line, small item because nowadays it's possible one, so I can speak in the federal job. Now it's also possible that one from Canada because there's some translation to the assembly.
The web assembly.
For example, one day it could be possible to just post the sharing app without using a server just there and it just run on someone.
I have no idea, and I don't think our community are that involved with web development to create that or to make it possible really soon. But sometimes they surprise me, so I wish they could. Yeah.